Well, it's the last day of 2020. Thank God and Greyhound is gone. Don't want to talk any more about it. But I've got my 260 Armies that I came up with a couple weeks ago. I've been kind of tinkering with. And I'm going to try to get out this afternoon, even though it's bitter cold out, and try some experiments here and see if we can get any boom to the end of the year. Three things I want to try out. One is cartridges I made, and this is 25 grains of grass double F and 0.7 cc's of cream of wheat and just a regular round ball that I dipped in just golf wax. I'm going to see if that's enough lubricant to keep these going. I've made another batch up that is a little different in that they've got a felt wad 1/8 inch thick that's been dipped in beeswax and tallow mix. They make a little bit of a bulge in there. I don't know how it's going to load that away, but I'm going to give that a try. Now when I make these cartridges, I twist up the top like that, and that tightens it down some. Now I went all out on expense on a former for these. This is just a part of a four funnels you get in a set at Harbor Freight, smallest funnel in a set. Costs about $1.17 for the whole set. Now they're on sale for 69 cents if you get a coupon. I cut the end off square, and then I take these True Wave end wraps that I got from eBay for about $4 delivered, and enough to make about 7 years of paper cartridges. And I cut them in two, and then I glue with a glue stick along one edge and top, and I wrap it around like this and glue it. I'm doing this rather hastily, and then glue this in and fold it over. And then I set it in the cartridge tray like that, and I take my powder measure and drop in my powder and pull it out. Make sure that the powder falls into the cartridge. Of course, it's not going to stay together because it's not glued. Sometimes it'll hang up in this funnel. And then once I got it powder in there, got them all set up, take my cream of wheat and my 0.7 cc dipper and dip in a little bit of powder. Then I drop in the ball and twist it shut. I left this one twisted up. I haven't nipped it off, but as you twist it up with glue on it, it becomes a lot tighter and a lot firmer assembly. I'm going to also be testing out my RWS caps that I scored the other day from Midway. I hope they look like they fit the nipples real well. These are just stock Pietta nipples, and so we'll see if they'll fire and set off the paper cartridges and how much paper cartridges is left at the end of the shoot. I'm going to shoot all of these in one gun and all of these in another to evaluate the lubrication method and see if this just plain ball covered with wax is going to be enough. We'll see if we can get out there and get this done. And like I've already figured out, it's going to shear off that paper as it loads the ball in there. And it went down below level, so that's good. They're a little tight getting in here. I may have to relieve this side here like Duelist did. This will be a wrap-up summary of what results of my shooting of these paper cartridges on the day before 2021. The gun that shot the one with the wonder wads made up with the beeswax and tallow lubricant and wax ball, all 30 shots went off fine. The gun stayed clean and had maintained a gap, no buildup on the face here, and when I cleaned it up, it just had a dark bore and still had rifling showing down through there. So I'll say that's a success. The one problem I did have with this gun is it got progressively stiffer to operate. I kind of attributed it to the bitter cold weather outside and the lubricant on the arbor. But when I cleaned it, I found 3 pieces of shrapnel came out of the action, and so I would say that's probably a good reason to suspect why it was hanging up. The gun that had the cream of wheat filler in it had more problems, and some of it was because of the cream of wheat filler and the fact that it don't have this window opened up where the cartridge can slide in easily. Got in about that point, and then the paper cartridge would rupture, and the cream of wheat would spill over around, and some of it would fall into the next chamber. In the second round I shot, I had 4 failures to set off the charge. The caps fired. I went back and came back in and took a needle and probed each nipple and got the 4 to fire. But learned a lesson about the cream of wheat filler and the fragileness of these cartridges, and the fact that this window needs to be modified so it can get it under there without bending and twisting and breaking them open. Another problem this gun had was on the very last cylinder full, it failed to fire one cap, and I was a little puzzled as why that happened, and I tried another cap and it still wouldn't fire. So I took the gun, basically broke it down and put it back together. Well, the wedge had come loose. I think that allowed the cylinder to slide forward enough that I wasn't making good contact with it. Once I reassembled it and put another cap on, it fired. I came back and found another cap that that I tried and didn't go off, and put it back on there, and it fired. So I'm quite sure that the loose wedge was the cause of that problem. Not sure about my cartridge design with wrapping up over the ball, because it leaves a lot of trash. You can see a little bit of debris still here on the counter. Good handful of this nasty paper stuff was sheared off. I expected it to, but it was kind of a nuisance. So, you know, if I continue down this road, I have to kind of solve that problem too. But with just a wax ball, this still had a pretty nice clean bore and didn't file up on the face of the cylinder. I initially didn't find any paper residue in these, but when I got them broke down and getting ready to clean them, I took good pictures down in the cylinders, and this one had some unburnt paper, and this one didn't, and had very little residue in the bottom of the chambers. So that's where it stands today. The RWS primers seem to work real well. I can't fault them for not going off. They seem very powerful. They blow the caps apart rather well, and maybe too well. They just fragment. Don't know what I learned. It was a good experiment. Something new on a winter day. I'll probably go ahead and shoot up the dozen or so cartridges I have left and kind of go on another adventure.